The Bat Family are freaking Power Rangers, and it's awesome. What's up everyone, James here, and I bring you Immortal Legend Batman. So this is a DC Elseworlds story set in the distant future where humanity has taken to the stars using dangerous technology that has shattered the barrier between our universe and its shadow counterpart. All brought to us by Kyle Higgins and Matt Groom, who both wrote for the Boom Studios Power Rangers comic series, and designs of these characters by Dan Mora, who actually had these designs for the Bat Family way back in 2019 before this series was even a thought. And though I said the Bat Family are Power Rangers, this series is definitely inspired by other properties like the Power Rangers, aka Super Sentai as it's known, that are from the genre of Japanese storytelling tokusatsu. There are already elements of Kamen Rider in this first issue, and I won't be surprised if we see elements of Ultraman and Godzilla in other issues to come. So this opens on this planet called Avoca, and this damaged ship arrives, being chased by Batman, who fires at its engines, causing it to crash land. The guy piloting the ship runs for his life. He runs into a crystal cave and causes a cave-in trying to keep Batman at bay. But of course, that doesn't stop the Dark Knight. He catches the guy, and the guy is freaking out, asking Batman what he wants with him because he's known for only hunting monsters. Batman tells him he is hunting a monster, a man he smuggled onto this planet a couple months ago. The guy denies it, and Batman responds that he knows he's lying. He says, "Tell me where he is. Where is Bruce Wayne?" You may be asking yourself, how is Batman hunting himself? Well, we'll find out in a bit, along with what exactly these monsters he hunts are. From here, we transition to a mining site where Bruce Wayne, who is the sheriff of this outpost on the planet called Davistown, and the mayor of Davistown we learn is Harvey Dent. Both of them are meeting up with this woman called Ada V, manager of the Dayton Kane mining site. Now, Harvey Dent traditionally becomes Two-Face in the Batman universe, but in this Immortal Legend Batman universe, that won't be happening. And you'll see what I mean by the end of this video. Ada V called them in about a body of a man that's been found on the site, who has been completely torn apart. Through their conversation, we learned that even with the number of cameras doubled as suggested by Bruce Wayne, they didn't catch anything because they were wiped out along with the motion sensors. That this is the third body in 8 weeks that's been discovered. Dent suggests hiring some security from the Corps. Wayne talks him out of it, pointing out that the killer's goal is to cause terror and panic. He assures him that they'll find the killer, they just have to stay strong. I love Bruce Wayne's design here because it's giving me David Xanatos from Gargoyles type of vibes, which is funny because he's based on Batman. Now, Mayor Dent and Sheriff Wayne decide to head back into town to make sure everyone is safe and accounted for. Suddenly, Bruce Wayne is tackled by someone, who turns out to be Batman. Harvey Dent asks him why he is here, especially when they haven't had any shadow sightings, which are the monsters Batman hunts. Batman tells him that Sheriff Wayne is a shadow and that he's taking him in. Mayor Dent doesn't believe him. He calls the accusation absurd because shadows don't talk, think, and can't impersonate anything. Batman says, "Absurd? Like a famous trillionaire deciding to permanently relocate to a backwater outpost on a Class 5 world?" Bruce Wayne interrupts, trying to convince Batman that he came here to this world to escape the life of being on gossip columns and board seats, that he wanted to live the simple life. Mayor Dent chimes in that Bruce Wayne has more than proved himself. He's helped the outpost fight off pirates and beasts every day since he's arrived, and that's why he was elected sheriff of the outpost. Batman points out to him that ever since Bruce Wayne arrived on the planet, there have been killings. However, Bruce points out that coincidence can be said for him too. After all, he's the one rumored to be strong enough to rip apart human beings, and rumors are going around the galaxy that Batman has started to attack people. He even brings up one incident where he had apparently done something horrible to a scientist who was a cryogenics specialist, which it won't be surprising if we find out that that cryogenic specialist is Victor Freeze. When Harvey admits he heard of that incident, that's when Bruce says to him, he's gone mad and he's been hiding here the whole time, killing. It all makes perfect sense. Batman responds, "Enough," and starts firing his batarangs at Bruce as he runs for his life. Dent tries to shoot at Batman. Out of nowhere, Ada V shows up driving a mining truck ramming right into Batman. Wayne and Dent escape with her in the truck. Batman chases after them, and they do their best to try to outrun and evade him, but he uses his batarangs to take out the tires of the truck, immobilizing it. Then Harvey and Bruce try to make a final stand, but Batman takes out their weapons quick, fast, and in a hurry. Just when they're about to stand down, Ada V charges up and points the truck's laser at Batman. He mentions to her though that if she fires that laser, they'll all die here. Ada makes it clear that Bruce has fought for the town, so they're going to stand by him. Bruce tells Batman that unless he's become so evil that he's willing to die with them, then he should just walk away. Batman says, "If I leave now, you'll just keep killing. You won't be able to help it. You're nothing but the unstable, festering void where a soul should be, compulsively lashing out at the world, tearing away at all the peace and meaning and contentment you can never sustain for yourself." Bruce gets up close to Batman, whispering in his ear. He replies, "Oh please, yes I killed those people. I absolutely loved it. I relish earning the trust of these idiots before I snuff them out. But get off your high horse. We both know you love having your polite face, the one people can look up to, so your other face can satisfy your desperate yearning to mete out violence without consequence." Batman says, "You're right." Batman tells Mayor Dent that he can prove Bruce is a shadow. He reveals his identity by demorphing and says, "Because I'm the real Bruce Wayne." Now, the Shadow Bruce is shocked that the real Bruce revealed himself. He then reveals his true form, which is the Two-Faced Man. This is why I said Harvey Dent won't become Two-Face in this universe. It's because of this that I believe that these shadow monsters we'll be encountering throughout this series will be different versions of the villains of Batman's Rogues Gallery. Now, Batman has a cool transformation sequence, similar to Kamen Rider. He whips his hand in front of his face and he says, "Become the Night," morphing back into his Batman armor. He takes the fight to the Two-Faced Man, which does go back and forth. Batman then hits him with what seems to be his signature move called the Bat Press. And this is definitely paying homage to Kamen Rider's Rider Kick. This destroys the Two-Faced Man and a massive explosion occurs, causing a rock slide. Ada and Harvey fall into the cavern and Batman saves them. Harvey apologizes to Batman, but Batman assures him that he doesn't have to apologize because it's his fault and he's going to fix it. He hops into his ship and leaves the planet. This is where the issue shifts to this individual explaining this universe, giving us some background and the history of these immortal legends. They explain that in the 22nd century, humanity took to the stars, but to conquer the vast distances between solar systems, humanity unlocked the power of dark matter, allowing it to bend space-time around their ships. This changed humanity's destiny and connected them to new, distant worlds, resources, and opportunities. But all of this came at a terrible cost. When humanity first used dark matter, they permanently shattered the barrier between their universe and the Shadow Universe, its dark counterpart. Humanity's shadows, mindless, soulless apparitions that craved nothing but violence and destruction, came from the breach. In those early days, humanity had no way of combating the shadow monsters while they were expanding across the galaxy. It wasn't until 3 powerful warriors emerged who were able to fight back the shadows. Some thought them aliens or gods. They were neither, not even immortal. They were just 3 exceptionally talented people who discovered a way to access and channel the energy that binds their universe and the Shadow Universe together. The first of the 3 embraced the ennobling, spirit-lifting, bright half of the binding energy, closest to their universe. He named his approach the Way of the Robin. The second believed the tactics and abilities of the enemy could be used against them. He embraced the terrifying, relentless half of the binding energy, closest to the Shadow Universe. He named his approach the Way of the Bat. The third was pragmatic. She thought it would be best to use both approaches, pulling from each end as necessary, soaring into the light in some moments and utilizing the terror of the dark in others. she named this approach the Way of the Nightwing. Now, something I have to point out here, though all of them are pulling light or dark energy or both, it's all still coming from the same source, which is like the Power Rangers pulling their energy from the morphing grid. Now, together they pulled humanity back from the brink of destruction. However, it eventually became clear to them that humanity would never be free of the shadows entirely. So they created a plan to ensure their legacy would always continue. They wanted the people of the universe to always feel safe exploring the stars. So they let the rumor of them being immortal become received wisdom. In reality, they simply chose successors to train in the ways, and eventually adopt their mantles. A tradition that has continued through the generations to this day. Now, this individual speaking is the former holder of the Batman mantle, because they say, 1 year ago, Master Stephanie Brown passed the mantle of Immortal Legend Robin onto boy genius Tim Drake. 2 years prior, Master Harper Row passed the mantle of Immortal Legend Nightwing to stunt pilot Dick Grayson. And 2 years before that, I passed the mantle of Immortal Legend Batman onto trillionaire Bruce Wayne. He wasn't my first choice. Bruce was born into extreme wealth and privilege. He knew nothing of pain and suffering until a shadow attack that I was unable to prevent led to him losing both of his parents. After this, he had the wrath and drive required of a good cadet. But I was convinced that, despite this, he would be too soft to take on the responsibility. But he was determined to prove me wrong. He traveled the galaxy, honing his body and mind in extremities even I could scarcely endure. Eventually, I relented. For several years, he served humanity well alongside his fellow immortal legends. But recently, Bruce has abandoned his duties, leaving his partners to face the shadows alone. I don't know why or to what end, but I've heard concerning reports of the immortal legend Batman attacking people. The most credible of these reports suggests he crashed a space station into one of the moons of Ancor, brutally killing a cryogenesis in the process. This can't be allowed to go on. The immortal legend Batman must continue, but it's clear now Bruce can't bear the responsibility anymore. This is why I've brought you here, to fix my mistake. I should have chosen you first, my son, but I feared that asking you to carry both the family legacy and the mantle of Batman would be too much to ask. His son replies, "It's not, father. Just tell me what I need to do." The father of the son says, "There can only ever be one immortal legend Batman at a time. So before you can take the mantle for yourself, you, Thomas Elliot, must take it from Bruce Wayne." This is nuts because for those of you who don't know, Thomas Elliot traditionally in the DC universe is Bruce Wayne's childhood friend and the villain Hush. Also, I think Thomas Elliot's father and the former holder of the Batman mantle is Ra's al Ghul, or Ra's al Ghul, however you prefer to say it. I have no evidence to prove this, and I think Thomas is more of an adopted son than a biological one. But Ra's al Ghul's family legacy traditionally is to restore global balance through destruction and rebirth. So what if that legacy in this universe is the same, but it's changed from global to universal? So that's why he didn't have Thomas Elliot be both leader of the League of Assassins and Batman, having to play the role of destroyer and savior. Let me know what you guys think about that theory. Let me know what you thought about this first issue of Immortal Legend Batman. That's the end of everything. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you want more DC videos, check out When Superman Met the Thundercats right here. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Other than that, have an awesome day, take care, and always remember every day to go beyond.